Hi, I'm Cynthia Matossian from Matossian Eye Associates in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. We have John Hovanesian, who is in faculty at Doylestown, UCLA. He practices in private practice in Southern California. John, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Nice to see you, Cindy.
I would like to know what you have found recently with your Raindrop hydrogel inlay.
Well, so as you know, the Raindrop Inlay is a hydrogel material that is placed underneath a LASIK type flap in the cornea at about 150 microns with the intention of altering the surface shape of the eye to give near vision. And this is not yet approved in the United States. The Inlay is now finished with its initial FDA trial, and we're doing ongoing surveillance of those patients, 373 patients. So at this meeting, I presented a sub-study of that 373. It was just 30 patients in whom we looked at a couple of special data points, defocus curves to see what range of vision they could expect, as well as contrast sensitivity, because we worry if we're altering the shape, what are we doing to these patients' contrast? And then last, we looked both monocularly and binocularly at patients' uncorrected visual acuity at distance, intermediate, and near.
And what were your results? What did you find with the vision?
So for the defocus curve, what we did is we refracted patients in the inlay eye only, the implanted eye, to distance vision, and then placed half diopter lenses in increasing steps in front of the eye, going from -5 diopters to +5 diopters to see what vision they had over what range. And we compared from pre-op to 1 year post-op. And what we found that in the pre-op period, most patients, these were all presbyopes who needed an add of 1.5 to 2 diopters to read. Their near acuity preoperatively was poor. If you blurred them, they would lose their near. And the minus side they couldn't see. But with the inlay in the eye, they had an uninterrupted range of vision, better than 20/40, that extended from a +50 blur all the way down to -3. So a 3.5 diopter range of uninterrupted acuity that was at least 20/40. And so we put that together with the other data we found in the trial. What do these patients see binocularly and monocularly without correction? So without correction, these same patients will typically see J1 or J2 at near, comfortably uncorrected, as well as maintain 20/20 or 20/25 at least, at most, at worst, acuity for distance vision.
Do you put this inlay in the dominant or non-dominant eye?
It's a great question. It just goes in the non-dominant eye. But we're still concerned about contrast sensitivity even in that eye, and that's why we also looked at that. So contrast sensitivity was tested under both photopic and mesopic conditions. It was done both with and without glare. And it was done at the distances that we mentioned, distance, intermediate, and near. And what we found is that there was no statistically significant difference between the pre-op and 1 year post-op contrast acuity in the eye that had this inlay, except at one point, which was at 6 cycles per degree. And at that point, it was an amount that was statistically different, but it wasn't clinically significant. We consider a difference of about 0.3 log units to be clinically significant, and it was just 0.2 log units different. So what that means in the big picture is really no or very little change in contrast sensitivity for these eyes with the implant.
And one last question. When do you think it'll be available in the U.S.?
Well, we don't know for sure because we're still looking at the data on this inlay. But what's a very promising development that just happened this week is that the FDA did finally approve the camera inlay, which comes from AccuFocus. And although it's a slightly different mechanism of action and slightly different results in the way it works, it says to us here in the U.S. and to the world in general that the FDA has given its blessing to an intracorneal inlay for correction of presbyopia, which I think is a really game-changing new offering in ophthalmology.
Well, thank you very much, John. This sounds most encouraging.
Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you.